Welcome to the Wealth Movement, a podcast that transcends boundaries and leads you onto a path of optimal wealth that is rooted in purpose. I'm your host, Kristoffer Fu, Managing Director of the West Coast and Private Wealth Advisor at Evoke Wealth Management. In today's episode, we are opening the door to a journey of holistic well-being with Dr. Scott Freeman, the owner of Vibe Health. As a seasoned expert with over 20 years of international experience in neurological optimization and rehab, Dr. Freeman guides individuals towards optimal health in body, mind, heart, and soul. We will explore how you can feel great, function better, and unlock the potential for a richer, more resourceful life from a doctor who understands the intricacies of your well being. Dr. Freeman is not just a health professional, but he's also a certified Alchemy mentor, introducing people to a tried and true energetic process that enhances your resourcefulness, allowing you to get more from life. Join me and Dr. Freeman for a fun conversation as we delve into topics that span beyond health, from overcoming blockages in business and relationships to unlocking the full potential for your life. Your continued support to the wealth movement means the world to me, and it gives me the fuel that I need to continue making content that I hope you can use on your journey to a wealthy life. If you want to learn more about ways to create, keep, and protect more of your money and your wealth, be sure to like and subscribe and follow me on all social channels. If you have more personal questions, please be sure to shoot me a message to chris@evokewm.com. That's KRIS at EVOKEWM.com. You can also learn more about me and my team by visiting us at EVOKEWM.com. Now get ready to connect, learn, and uncover the more that is available for you and everyone you love.
But the way that I've heard health defined, or the best definition that I've heard of health, is that health is the ability to thrive.
All right, Dr. Scott, thanks for joining me on the Wealth Movement. I appreciate it. And I know this was in the works for a few months. So I'm really excited about this. Yeah, I mean, since we met at that, yes, in Newport.
The Newport Chamber one.
Yeah. I remember when we sat across each other and there's just the energy. And we afterwards are like, hey, we got to connect somehow. It was weird. It was weird. And so, yeah.
No, I knew. I mean, we thought table.
Yeah.
We had a great table there. There was kinship, or I get you. I like you.
Talk. Yeah. And then you told me what you do and everything. So definitely want to get into that. Have you share, what you do. Cause I think how you do it and what you do is different than what I think most people accustomed to what is a chiropractor or, that field of work that you do. So before I get into that, I would like to kind of, start us off, get us a little comfortable with some icebreaker question. And so the one I think I think you'll appreciate probably, hopefully, is, if you could go back to the 8-year-old self of Dr. Scott Freeman and give him some advice, what would that be? And then also, if you could fast forward to the 80-year-old Dr. Scott Freeman, what do you think he will tell you today?
Oh my God. Wow. Okay. Well, you picked a heck of a number, because 8 years old is actually when I knew, like, when I first had the sense that my parents were going to divorce.
Wow.
I mean, I knew. And so if I was going to give that version of me some advice, Wow. I would just, I mean, this is kind of serious really quickly, but I would tell him, I'm like, look, you're good. You're okay. You're good.
Yeah.
You're good.
Yeah.
You're loved.
Mm-hmm.
You're loved. This is them. It's their thing. Because I think I really took it personally.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, pretty common, I think. Felt like abandoned and left and the family breaking up and all those things.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think more than anything else, I would probably go back to that version to me and say, keep drawing your Star Wars pictures. It's okay.
Yeah.
They're going through a rough patch. And they're going to for a while.
Yeah.
But that's not necessarily a reflection. You're okay. That's not necessarily a reflection of.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I would have given, like some sort of comfort and soothingness.
Mm. That's beautiful, by the way. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah,
that is personal.
Welcome. Like, man, we're getting into it. And then what was the other part of it?
If the 80-year-old you saw you today, what do you think he would tell you?
You're on it, buddy. You're in a great direction. Stay trusting. Keep following the way. Keep following what you're saying, what you know. How do I say it? There's like, you're on track. Just keep trusting it.
Yeah.
Keep going with it. Follow the vibe. Follow the energy.
Yeah.
There's like miracles already that are like already in motion or already lined up.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. That's awesome.
That's a great question.
That is good. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. I'm glad.
Wow.
Well, I mean, Vibe, right? Vibe Health is your
Yeah.
company. So I'm curious, like, how, I mean, I kind of know probably how you came up with that name, but I love the name. But can you talk more about, the name, the company, what you do?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, look, name and branding is such a personal thing. And
Yeah.
it's such a difficult, I think. And my first business's name, and that's when was this, in 2004, I guess, 2004, 5, when I got out of chiropractic.
Mm-hmm.
I just called it Freeman Wellness because I didn't know what to call it. Like, Freeman had a good last name.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that stuck for a really long time. Can't go up with something better. And I don't know if this is the perfect name. I'm actually kind of in a little bit of a reevaluation process right now.
Okay.
If this really, because a business name or a brand or a tagline, like these are promises. Like, really, that's what they really are. It's a promise from me to you, from me to whoever. It's not even a promise so much of what I can give or what I can deliver, because on some level that's kind of irrelevant. It's a promise of like what they're going to get.
Yes.
And it's
love that.
Thanks.
Yeah.
And it's a promise of an experience that they're going to have.
Mm-hmm.
And in my business, I mean, yeah, technically I'm a chiropractor. Legally, I'm a chiropractor.
Right.
Let's just say the common cultural perception of chiropractic, I think, is very, very, very watered down, and it's very dumbed down. It's just a teeny little fraction of what's really going on.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me, I'm a little congested. Shouldn't have had the gluten yesterday. I don't take very well to it. So this is it. So the name Vibe Health, like, this came from a number of places. I was looking for a synergy between a lot of different ideas and concepts and promises.
Yeah.
Which is that health, first off, health is not what we're taught.
Yeah.
Like, we're taught that health is really more about the management of diseases and symptoms.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I mean, that sort of dumbs it down a little bit, but like 99% of healthcare, or what we call healthcare, whether it's allopathic Western or even whether it's kind of like holistic natural, 99% of it is we're attempting to either get rid of the experience or manage it in some way.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So you take like low back pain, for example. It's like, and really the response, really the question that people are asked is like, oh, what's wrong? How do I fix it?
Mm-hmm.
Which really, that just means I don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
How do we get rid of it?
Mm-hmm.
as quickly and conveniently and cheaply as possible.
Yes.
And then it just depends how we're going to do that. In an allopathic model, it's like we got drugs and surgery, maybe some physical therapy. And then in a more holistic, quote unquote natural, alternative complementary model, whatever you want to call it, then you got a variety of choices. You got chiropractic, you got acupuncture, you got chakra healing and all sorts of things. But the underlying philosophy is still the same.
Yeah.
It's just like, I don't like it, make it go away.
Okay.
And we're trying to move away from something. We're trying to move away from some sort of pain as opposed to moving towards health.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a completely different philosophy. It's a completely different standard altogether. I mean, if we're trying to move away from something, there's only so far we can get.
Right.
And,
Right.
and that's it. So, this is funny that you're asking me these questions because I hope this is a decent answer and kind of going.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. No, I understand it. I mean, I think what you mean by going through to health is facing it head on in a way, or what do you mean by that?
So yeah, it's funny because it's so foreign. Like our culture, we're so steeped in this model, it's hard to even see anything else. But the way that I've heard health defined, or the best definition that I've heard of health, is that health is the ability to thrive.
Yes. I love
And
that.
that's really different from saying,
Yes.
I want to get rid of this pain.
Yeah.
Or even more specific, it's the ability of the system to thrive. And then what's the system? The system is our body. So the ability of the body to thrive. Right? I kind of messed that up with what I ate yesterday. We're helping it out with some kombucha right now.
Yeah.
It's the ability of the family to thrive. It's the ability of the romance to thrive. It's the ability of the business to thrive. And as we keep expanding, there's something I want to come back to. Remind me, I'll come back to it. But it's the ability of the community to thrive. And it's the ability of the culture to thrive. And it's the ability of the world to thrive. One of my friends and my teachers and mentors, he said that there's two things that determine the quality of your life. This is the thing that came to mind that I wanted to share. He said, number one is the quality of the emotions that you choose on a regular and consistent basis, not necessarily the quality of the emotions that we feel on a regular and consistent basis. Because so much of what we feel it's trained. We learn how to respond and interact with the culture from our family and from our teachers and schooling and education. But what's the quality of the emotion that we choose on a regular basis? Like whether it's curiosity, or fascination, or tenacity, or compassion, or a million things, right? Community. I don't think people usually choose depression or sadness or things like that, but it's like, what's the standard that we choose emotion? Because that's fuel for life. And so he said, there's two things that determine the quality of your life. That's number one. He said, number two is, what is the size of the system that you participate in? Like what's the scale? Like how much are you personally choosing to be responsible? In life. And so that kind of long roundabout answer to where we get the name of Vibe, or where Vibe Health come from, is I was looking for something that's going to be unique and novel and different and representative of a promise that I can make to people. And this name Vibe Health has a lot of connotations, implications. First off, vibe.
Yeah.
Kind of cool.
Good vibe. Yeah. That's more
good vibe.
Exactly. That word's coming back a lot now. It's coming back a lot now with the new generation. Vibe tribe, or that's my vibe.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Very much so. There's actually an entertainment center that's being built out by the haunts. That's called the Vibe, or the Vibos.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So when I was first saying that's a little proof around,
right.
But I'm like, oh, they're spending billions of dollars to create that. Maybe it's okay.
Yeah.
So there was that element of, you kind of always want to be a little novel, always want to have some pop, a little bit of spice, and not just blend background somewhere.
Yeah.
But more important than that, I'm also a musician.
That's right. Yes.
and I've just started. I've literally just started a degree.
That's
I
awesome.
passed it last week. I started, and so we're doing both of these at the same time. So there's that element,
Yeah.
musical sound vibration, but really ties into this work in the chiropractic. The nerve system actually. I mean, we're kind of getting into it a little bit here, but
Yes, please.
the nerve system, chiropractic, like almost nothing to do with snap processing.
Right. Backbreaking. I mean, I think that's like what most of us think of. I mean, that's what I think of.
Well, I did too.
And that's why I never went, because I'm like, what if they mess me up?
I know. I know. I'm still nervous about that.
Yeah.
And I think I think that's really valid.
Yeah.
I think it's really, really valid. In 1991, when I first got introduced to chiropractic, 1991. So clearly I was like only 1 year old.
10.
I had been doing a bunch of Tony Robbins seminars that
Nice.
summer,
Yeah.
and it was amazing. And he's one of my best friends,
Yeah.
one of the most influential people in my entire life, my friend John Adams.
Okay.
We met at David Destiny in
Oh, yeah.
Del Mar, San
Yeah.
Diego.
Nice.
And he comes to me after, I don't know, a month or how it was, a short period of time after David Destiny. I had girl, everybody's going. Like all of our Robbins friends.
Yeah.
Shar is going, Kevin is going. Oh. And I'm not a hype guy.
Yeah.
When somebody comes to me overexcited, I was like,
I thought you were hype. You were the hype guy at our table.
I was.
Yeah, the moderator for our table at the luncheon.
Who's the one who was changing the rules?
Exactly.
And it's remarkable.
Yeah, exactly. You brought all the energy.
Well, I did, and that was a function of work.
Mhm.
You know, for this next hour and a half at this table, something's gonna happen.
Yeah.
We're either gonna have some kind of like boring, average, regular kind of neutral energy
Yep.
conversations, and we'll part ways and forget about each other, or there's some really special people. There's some special souls at this table. How can we like
Yes.
bump the vibe?
Yeah.
Not plan that one. How can we elevate the energy that's available on the table and really see who each other is and what the person has special.
Yeah.
And everybody was open to that, and so it went that way. And then we got this friendship.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is,
it was just everyone connected, and everyone got it.
They really did.
You know, they really opened up to it. I'm sure some people will be, what is this? I don't know.
We had fun. We had fun. But, so 1991, John is after me to go to this stupid health class. And like I said, part of it was I don't like hype.
Yeah.
It not only doesn't somebody turns me off.
Uh-huh.
And the other part of it was like, I didn't want to come back.
Uh-huh.
Like I didn't think I really knew what chiropractic was, but I just remember thinking things like, I don't have any problems.
Right.
Like nothing hurts. Cause that's what I thought health was. Just nowhere near close to the truth. But that's what I thought health was. And there was a part of me that was scared, because it's like, this guy's going to snap out after you're going to die.
Yeah.
Right. Like every action movie or
exactly.
Norris movie or whatever that I had ever seen. And so John stayed after me like for months. Like so this doctor and that chiropractor who is still my friend to this day, still one of my primary. I just got an email from him yesterday. Like it's like time for a checkup. 33 years later.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And John knew something. I think that sometimes in life, sometimes we can often see other people better than they can see themselves, or conversely, like they can see us better than we can see ourselves. And again, we come back to this kind of community thing. John, I don't know if it was conscious. I don't even think it was, but I'm pretty confident John knew something. And he really, as a friend, stayed after me.
Yeah.
And like week after week after week, kept saying, Scott, you got it. I just have a feeling, trust me. And he kind of wore me down. And his hype level dropped. That helped. His hype level dropped. So through the course of time, I'm like, we're past the honeymoon phase. Maybe there's something to this. And then He kept doing what he's like, it's real. It's just a class.
Yeah.
Free.
Yeah.
You're tripping. And he serves dinner. I mean, you're a broke college student. Just come for
Go.
the
Yeah.
food. So it's like an ethical bribe, I guess. and I went, and that changed. That was it. Destiny forever changed. Because when
Wow.
I saw that class, and that's why I offered the classes, I started off in my office
Yeah.
and did the first one last week.
Yes.
That doctor showed me that wasn't about chiropractic. It was about what's possible with life. Like he started to show me a level of possibility, which I had been experiencing with the Tony Robbins world, and a level of extraordinary, maybe. It was something more.
Yeah.
And he wasn't your usual chiropractor. I mean,
Yeah.
on occasion when necessary, sure, we can do some of the snap, crackle, pop stuff. And there is a time and place where that's the right thing.
Yeah.
But he did a whole bunch of other stuff. And his methodologies and techniques were very light, and they were very, very gentle. They were very safe.
Yeah.
So just kind of physically, mechanically, I felt secure with that.
Yeah.
And he showed us demos, physical, biochemical, and what really shocked me was like mental, emotional. That like you can actually help somebody's heart and their spirit, soul, and their mind, their psychology, their chiropractic, and like, what is this like voodoo?
Yeah.
Weirdness.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say vibe again, but there was such a vibe to it.
Yeah.
And I was so impressed that was it. I was done.
Yeah.
And I immediately, I don't mean done like become a doctor. I mean like all I wanted to do was hang out there.
Yeah.
And go back as a patient. So as much as my cheap college student budget could afford, like I was in as a patient, and I would come to the classes.
That's awesome.
Over and over and over and over and over again. And then many years later, it wasn't until 7 years later that I actually started practice. Okay. That was like nowhere near my mind.
Yeah.
At all. I was just an innocent patient that, thank God, I had a friend who saw that there was something more possible for me in my life. And I suspect maybe on some level, I had a sense I was destined in some way. And that's kind of big.
Yeah.
But just he was so adamant about me going. I know. I know.
I mean, it's just, yeah, like you said, he saw something in you, probably couldn't even explain it, but just knew, get Scott here.
Yes.
And then that will, for some reason, just change him for the better.
And so that 100%, and not just change me, but really help get me aligned with the purpose for me being. And then how that impacts the rest of the world.
Yes.
And that's a big thing.
Yes.
I don't necessarily mean me having impact on the rest of the world. That's a big thing, but just a person being truly authentic to their essence and their nature. That's the gig of life.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the whole thing. So that comes back to the name of Vibe Health, which is, I've always been, I guess you could say, attentive to or sensitive to energy and to vibration. And that's a very real thing. I know that it's strange, and I sometimes think it's freaky and weird. But it's real, and it's definitely an expanded viewpoint on what life is and what healthcare is.
Yeah.
And so all of these elements went into the name of Vibe.
Yeah.
Or Vibe Health. I don't even like health, the Vibe as an entity. And at the end of the day, like, I don't care so much if somebody comes in and their spine is aligned and the angles are correct and this and that. I mean, it matters.
Right.
But those sorts of things that we measure, those are symptoms of the health or the lack thereof. And so we use those as measurement tools to kind of help us evaluate where a person is along this wide spectrum of what's possible.
Yes.
But the whole gig for me, it's like my objective is not to get a perfectly aligned spine. That should be a result of the work that we do, or could be a result. But my objective is like, how do I help the soul have the most extraordinary life that they can possibly have, you know, which is how to help them be more connected, release tension, become more authentic, more real, more true, and let their life kind of serve. That's how I'm in church now. Let their life serve as like a testimony. Let their life serve as an example.
Exactly.
Let their life serve as an example of what's possible. And bit by bit, that spreads and helps gather the community. And there's like popcorn, like a ripple effect of having that. That's part of why I love this and what you're doing and with your podcast. Because you really took a stand. You said, sure, I'm in the financial world, but I'm going to do it in a really unique way.
Yeah.
And this is the demographic. These are the people that I so sincerely care about. You know, we've had a little bit of conversation about this.
Right. Yeah.
For you, it's about the caring. It's about the intimate connection and really seeing the person, what they need, and how you can help.
Yeah.
So you chose kind of a very interesting, and we're going to meet my mom after this.
Right? Yeah, thank you, by the way. Yes. Yeah.
Of course. But you chose a very intentional world. And what you're doing here is, I think, similar to what I'm doing in my way.
Yes.
Is that you're helping you're serving as an example and a demonstration for people as best as you're able from moment to moment, day to day, year to year, and helping to show people what's possible.
Yeah, absolutely.
For their lives to enrich their life and help them have a more extraordinary experience of life.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that's obviously why we connected so easily, just because we share very similar, I feel, mindset, very similar vision, especially when you're talking about community and just the effect that we can have on the world by maybe affecting one person, they affect 2 people, 3 people, and so on and so forth. But really helping them see that, they can live a full, authentic life. It doesn't have to be like in my world of wealth and money. It's like, I have to have so much money to be happy. It's like, no, it's not how it works. You got to find joy in what you do and happiness first. And then the wealth and the money, that'll all follow. But when you're chasing the other way, it's kind of like, I think in your practice, right? People come, I need to fix my back. It hurts. But then obviously there's some more underlying things and issues. Like, and that was a story you shared with me. I think about it, a girl that came to you and she was dealing with pains, but after you spoke with her, you uncovered it was other things. And then with your help, she was able to, find a lot more of her life, and then helped her
show you the pictures
health.
of her
Yeah.
That was impressive. So I went to chiropractic school in the Bay Area, had a practice there, or the inklings, the beginnings of practice, and moved to Singapore. Excuse me. That's a whole nother long story, but I had a practice in Singapore for a few years.
Yeah.
I was offered a gig. I was offered a partnership on chiropractic practice in Singapore. Friend of a friend, long story, got me there, but I went out there and fell in love with this beautiful South African woman who was there on contract. She's the reason I was there. I never actually ended up working with that doctor. I just created my own business.
I see.
I went for the romance.
Yeah.
I went for the love.
Yeah.
And started my own practice, and we did Groupon marketing and advertising back in the day. And it's really, this really emotional, very, very emotional young woman. I think she was 24 years old, came in off a Groupon ad because she had low back pain. That's it. And now I know, just because of my training, that there were studies done that were printed in the New England Journal of Medicine. This actually goes back a way. This research came out at least 20 years ago, but New England Journal of Medicine, massively one of the most prestigious medical journals on the planet in the history of our world. They published documentation that as much as 95% of low back pain can actually be emotionally related. And for men, and I'm not trying to do any gender things at all, for a biological male, typically more often, just because of biochemistry, how that flows in the ratio of hormones, for biological male, that's going to tend to probably be more money and financially related, but it's not even financial related. It has a little bit more to do with the fulfillment or the accomplishment of a goal or quest.
Mm.
And that's not happening appropriately. They experience it as low back pain.
Wow.
And for women, biological female, it's going to have more to do with the relationships. So I know this is context for me as she's coming in and talking about low back pain. And she's like crying. Like on the very first visit, we're just doing an exam. You know?
Yeah.
What are you here for? How can I help? Let's look at your posture. Let's do some scans and stuff like that. And she's tears about her love life and her romance. And I felt for her. I mean, she felt so broken. I didn't feel like she was broken, but like her perception of herself felt that way. And very like helpless and not even helpless, but hopeless in like love.
Yeah.
And so we get to work and she came regularly, at least once, if not a couple times a week. And I promise you, almost every time she got on the table, she's in tears.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm hearing her dating woes, this man, that, her feelings betrayal and rejection, all of this.
Yeah.
And, you know, some people might think, well, what does that have to do with chiropractic?
Right.
But like all the feelings, you know, if we've ever been stressed out, we all know that like the body tenses.
Yeah.
There's other research. I'm kind of keeping it this way.
I love that. I love this stuff.
I thought that, right. And I really love how, like, here's one of the problems with our world and with our culture is that we tend to see everything as separate parts and pieces.
Yes. Yep.
And we do that with our bodies. It's like we try kind of, in the world of healthcare, we kind of treat our bodies like a used car. There's spark plugs and the hoses in and out. It's not like that.
Yeah.
Right? There's an interconnectedness and there's a relationship. Everything.
Yes.
But with that comes a responsibility.
Yeah.
And gosh, how do we get to? Oh, so with try not to say her name, with this young woman. So there's other data, there's other research that says when one of my chiropractors used to say, he would say, what we don't express, we will repress. It expresses itself as disease or disorder.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah.
The whole mind, body, somatopsychic thing. And so I have studies, there's research that shows when we do not experience an emotion completely and fully, and emotion, that's a whole other podcast. That's a biological event. If we don't experience it fully, your body's going to do two things. It's going to cause pain and it's going to tighten muscle because the body doesn't speak English or Chinese or Spanish or sign language or anything.
Right.
The body speaks in the language of sensation.
Right.
And we're lucky if we even pick up the sensation.
Yeah.
Most of the time we don't.
Yeah.
So I know that if emotion has been repressed, it's going to make itself known like a baby crying for help, right? Through pain or through tight muscle. There's all sorts of like mental, emotional, biological correlation and what's going on physically and tangibly in the tissues of the body. It's telling me things psychologically, emotionally, spiritually, all of this stuff. So there's this connection. So month after month, this young woman is coming in.
Yeah.
And her body's starting to unwind, loosen, and become more self-corrective.
Wow.
Not dependent on me, right? You give a man or woman a fish to eat for a day, teach them to fish. That's what we do with this form of chiropractic, is teaching their neurology how to like self-adjust and correct and deal with and not only manage the stresses of life, but claim and go for something more.
Yeah.
And 8 months later, I think it was 8 months, 8-ish, 10 months perhaps later into her care, she comes in. Well, first off, the men in the office started responding to her as she was going through her own growth. In the beginning, they didn't notice her so much. As time went on and she's getting healthier and she's enriching and she's having more self-esteem and all these things, then the men are like, the doctors, yeah, don't. Don't.
Yeah.
She's like my daughter, don't touch her.
Yeah.
She meets this guy
Yeah.
And I remember because I could tell there was something different in her demeanor when she's speaking about him. And we're still friends.
That's
This
awesome.
is so many years later. I probably haven't seen her in person since I left, well, it was 12 years ago. But I still follow, and
Yeah.
I follow their marriage, and now they have a second kid.
Oh man,
And I'm like, oh my God,
that's beautiful.
you know,
Yeah,
would,
you helped in that.
that gives me tears because it's like, but then would that have happened without without the magic that we did together?
Right.
And yes, I'm responsible.
Yeah.
And yes, I chose it.
Yeah.
But she's responsible, and she was brave enough to come in. And the masters who created this chiropractic were but responsible for giving us the gift of being able to do this together.
Mm-hmm.
This is the realm. This is the realm that we play in. Sorry, man. We're going.
No. This is not even going off on. It's exactly kind of the vision of wealth movement, the vision of, myself as a practitioner, exactly aligning with you. Is like giving our clients, the people, we help, the will and the way power, but then for them to be able to have confidence so that they can do it on themselves and then see that for themselves. Cause I always tell my clients, hey, look, I'm not the expert in your life. You're the expert in your life. My job is to be your thinking partner and help you think about so many things when it comes to finance. But at the end of the day, I want to give you the tools that you can use to make the decisions, because I feel that when they can do and make the decisions on their own, it's so much more empowering than me
100%.
just coming in and say, hey, this is what I think you should do. Follow what I say. That was never my objective going into this career path, because I guess the way I like to teach is by having people learn, even though they may not want to learn, but I see more fulfillment for myself too. And when people can really, I guess, attach whatever I'm advising, but use it, for their
100%.
own use and then expand upon it. So I think,
100%.
I think that's why, just what you were sharing, you gave her just enough, but she was the one that came out of it and grew out of it. But with your help, you kind of helped guide her that way.
This is big problem with our worldwide medical community. It is context. I'll just say about this. Most of our world, it's like we're looking for a magic healer.
Yeah.
There's a dynamic, a psychological and an energetic dynamic that is set up, which is like, I'm the wounded patient, you're the magic doctor. And I'm not, please, like, I'm not diminishing this in any way, shape, or form.
Right.
I'm sort of saying what it is, where most people, there's something one of my mentors taught me. He calls it the unholy trinity.
Mhm. Yeah.
And it's the relationship between the hero, victim, and villain.
Okay.
And if we get into these kind of polarized dynamics,
Uh-huh.
then there always has to be, and this is like the definition of how so much healthcare is handled. Always has to be someone in a victim state.
Mm-hmm.
I feel helpless. This is going on. I don't know what it is, what it means. There's the victim, there's the hero, and the villain. I feel victimized by this villainous tumor or bug or process, this thing that is torturing me or creating havoc in my life. Please, hero, doctor, save me, heal me, fix me.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to mock this in any way, shape, or form. I'm just sort of illustrating the dynamics. And this is really the way of our culture. There's, and yes, what you just said is so brilliant. It's like, yes, like I'll be your friend. I'll be sort of your guide, and then we'll have this financial conversation or healthcare conversation. But I'm not your savior. And I couldn't be. There's a point here where you have to take some responsibility and do some things for your life.
Yeah.
And that's in our medical system. I mean, it's so obvious when we talk about it. That's like a really weird and a novel and almost a discrediting thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, no, you're the doctor. You're supposed to have the magic hand.
Right.
Saved my life. And that happens sometimes.
Right. Yeah.
Right. I almost died from pneumonia years ago.
Jeez. Wow.
Yeah, that was terrifying.
Gosh.
And my chiropractor, I was so arrogant at the time and so discrediting Western medicine. I only go to my chiropractor.
Yeah.
He sent me to the hospital.
Yeah. Look, dude, we gotta go to hospital.
Yeah. He knew how to manage my righteousness. And he sent me to the hospital.
Yeah.
And that was the perfect time, right? Because I
Okay.
really was dying. And
Yeah.
they took x-rays and put drugs. They were the heroes of that moment. I was 100% victim. That saved my life.
Yeah.
There's no question about that. That was the appropriate time for this model of like disease and symptom management. That did not heal my life.
Mm-hmm. Right.
The
Right.
healing was a whole nother thing. And it was physical, it was mental, it was emotional. One of my mentors, 3 months later when I got out of the hospital, could walk again. And
Yeah.
like,
Wow.
yeah. Wow. I went to see him and he said, first thing he said, he's like, Scott, did anybody, when you got so sick, he's like, had a relationship ended or did anybody close to you die or pass away? And I was looking at him like a crazy person. I was like, my lungs.
Yeah.
You got the wrong chart. We're not
Right.
therapy. Like,
Yeah.
And he said to me, he's like, Scott, in Chinese medicine, there's different emotional qualities associated with organs and meridian systems. And he said grief is associated with the lungs.
Uh-huh.
But okay,
Uh-huh.
I don't think you're my mentor anymore.
Yeah.
But as I went through the next few months of my life, that really disrupted my perspective on medicine and healthcare. I was seeing things, healthcare is just purely physical and I have my box compartmentalized and separate. And he really disrupted that. And then I started looking, I'm like, gosh, yeah. I just started chiropractic school. Like I moved, 2/3 of my friends we're not friends anymore.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm being taught chiropractic school has nothing to do with the vision that I thought it was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
It was like heavily graded.
Yeah.
Heavily.
Yeah.
That's my part. So anyhow, we found.
No, I mean, I think it just makes, again, that's kind of why, when you brought up at the lunch when I first met you, you just shared right now about like, man, when they experience back pain, it could maybe be because again of financial or goal or things like that. And that's where, to your point of, I think the world thinks everything is compartmentalized. It's
100%.
not. Like, same for me in my world, when I'm helping someone with their finances, sometimes they can't make, financial decisions, probably not because of whatever strategy. It might be something else that's going on in life where they're not fully present. So for me, it's taking a step back and stating, okay, maybe let's not talk so much about finances. Let's talk about, what else is going on. I'm not a therapist. I'm not a medical practitioner, but I do feel that there is so much correlation in there.
Yeah.
And that's why I love having conversation with so many different people in different fields. Cause again, of that interconnectedness that I believe is there.
And I think this is where we connect. And it doesn't mean that we necessarily have to go down the road.
Right. Yeah.
I injured my shoulder 2 months ago, so I'm pretty decent now. But when I injured it, this tendon right here, the biceps tendon, helps your arm do that.
Mm-hmm.
My arm got yanked back really intensely like that. And this tendon literally got popped out of the groove. Yeah. It was a dislocation of the tendon. Ooh. And my arm, and I'm like trying to hold it together until I could get to one of my docs to pop it back in place. It's a physical thing. We kind of need some emergency intervention.
Yeah.
That's what's going on. And there's been a massive and a big healing process, physical healing I'm still dealing with it right now. I still, a couple of nerves going out of my neck through the shoulder.
Wow.
We're compromised. And as we're sitting here, I still have some tingling. Maybe a little bit of numbness, definitely a little bit of pain in my hands because biologically, physically did some nerve damage.
Yeah.
And, going through that biological, physiological healing process is real.
Yeah.
Um, and then the other side of it, I asked one of my teachers, Dr. Bruce Lipton. You'll love him.
Yeah.
He wrote a book called Biology, I believe. He's
Yeah.
internationally recognized renowned microbiologist. He was one of my teachers in school.
Uh-huh.
And I said to him, I'm like, Doctor, come, you're telling me that everybody and everything is a product of their environment.
Uh-huh.
Everything has an emotional component. I'm like, come on. I'm walking down a set of stairs and there's some water there and I slip on it and I fall and I crack my butt.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do some injury in my hip. Like, come on now.
Yeah.
That's not an emotional, psychological, spiritual experience. And he says to me, he's like, Scott, why didn't you see the water? What were you not paying attention to?
Ooh, got you on that. That actually, man.
I'm trying to prove for you.
Oh, man.
So, my job is really just like meet people where they're at.
Yeah.
Love them.
Yeah.
Listen, hold a space. And just show them what's going on with their body. And so we go through.
Yeah. Can you, I mean, I was fascinated by it. Can you just maybe expand upon that a little bit? Cause I think this is kind of where, again, looking at your world of, chiropractic, it's different. Just my experience with what I went through with you. Like, can you share kind of what the scans were, things like that?
Yeah, sure. So I'll start with it. So the common cultural perception of chiropractic is almost kind of like we're sort of like biological mechanics.
Yeah.
And there is that sometimes. And the model is, supposedly bone is out of alignment and we got to pop it into place. And there's that whole crack phenomenon, which is sincerely all that is gas bubbles bursting in the joint. I've seen MRIs of it happening.
Jeez.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. And most of the time, not all the time, I mean, I'm going to have colleagues that when I say this, but a lot of the time in my perspective and my experience and observation, so much of the time that area that the chiropractor is adjusting into, that's an area of defense. It's guarded, it's fixated, it's bound for a reason. And to thrust and adjust into it is not only an insult, it's a violation of like a natural process that's occurring. And so we're looking at, again, I don't want to create a dependency. I don't want, and that I feel like that happens a lot with the common chiropractic models. There's like a very quick fix.
Yes.
Very short term. And I believe it creates a chemical dependency. Really, like a drug. Because when those gas bubbles, when that adjustment happens, there are endorphins that are released in the system that give you a natural high. And there's the release of pressure, which feels really good. And so we sort of get addicted to that short term temporary.
Got it. That makes sense. Yeah.
And then not all the time.
Right.
Not all the time. It is I mean, chiropractic's been around throughout all history. 125, 130 years in its current form. And literally it's been a part of Chinese medicine, Tibetan medicine, Egyptian medicine. It's always been here. So it works. It works.
Yeah.
There's clearly something going on with this central core here, right? You look in Indian medicine, Ayurvedic medicine, the chakra system runs through here. Chinese meridians run through the center. So there's a lot of stuff going on. But really, when we look at the research, when you look at the data, as much as 95% of the quote unquote structural bony misalignment comes from tension in the other surrounding tissues. Tension in the ligaments, the tendons, the muscles, the connective tissue, in the nerves themselves. I have pictures of spinal cords and tissue that is torqued and twisted like you tied it in a knot.
Wow.
And the nerves themselves are bursting, they're exploding, they're being stretched, rupturing. And all of this stress on the system denatures the function of the cells and causes breakdown and inhibits biologically what the body can do. It's a massive thing.
Yeah.
And all of this is going on simultaneously. Bone does not move by itself.
Yeah.
So it's a complete mythology to even consider that it could go out of place by itself or pop back into place by itself.
Mm.
And even the whole concept of misalignment bone, that's not really the gig.
Yeah.
What really matters more than anything is the tone of the nerve tissue. This is the original concept of chiropractic, is that there's kind of like a violin string, guitar string or piano string. There's a proper degree of tension of the tissue. If you look back in the original literature from the early part of the century, they call it tone. There's a certain amount, a proper degree of tension that's measurable.
Wow.
And that is the range within the nerve tissue. That's the range within its, there's a range within it that the nerve tissue functions optimal.
Got it.
And then you go inside or outside of that range and you're going to get less than optimal function. You start to get breakdown.
I see.
So when someone comes into the office, obviously they're not coming in any of this knowledge,
right.
This background. They're like, I'm actor's dog. Just make it
exactly.
Right?
Just crack it, please.
For sure.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's the appropriate.
Yeah.
What we do is, obviously the first thing is we have a consultation. This is always common. Always, at least in my office.
Yeah.
Always come on in, let's have a chat and see what, let's even just get to know each other, see if it's a fit. Because if it's not, I'll send you someplace else.
Right. Yeah.
I want you to have
Totally
the best fit. And we start to have a conversation. What's going on in your life? And am I someone who could help? Right. And not just help get rid of the problem, but help optimize your life and take you to the next level, right? Helps the ability to thrive and to move towards something fantastic as opposed to just getting rid of something.
Yeah.
And then if we feel it's a fit and it's appropriate, then we would go ahead and do the exam process, which has 5 parts to it, which we did. The first part is we're going to take pictures of, gosh, I wish I brought it. It would have been a good demo to show.
Yeah.
But take pictures of the posture.
Yeah.
Whatever's going on the inside is going to reflect on the outside.
Yeah.
Then we do three additional scans of the nervous system. We do one, you did with the palm device. That's the HRV, the heart rate variability. That's like the big stress test. Not like, do I feel stressed out, but how well can your nervous system handle the stresses of life and adapt to it? Right? What's your biochemistry? So it's really about communication between the brain and the heart and the gut. And how well are we managing? What are your adaptive reserves? And that was yours. If I'm remembering correctly, yours was, I can't talk about that HIPAA violation, but
I guess it was decent.
Yours was off the charts. Yours was helping with anybody that it was.
Yeah.
Remembering that.
I think you had mentioned. Yeah.
And that's the second test. Third test, we do call it EMG, which is if you've ever seen like on House or Grey's Anatomy or ER or something like that, they hook electrodes up to the heart or they hook electrodes up to the brain.
Yeah.
We're doing, this one is a scan. This was the one that was a little cold on the spine.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yes.
And we're measuring the electrical activity in the spinal musculature, the postural musculature. What we're really measuring is how effectively neurology coming into that musculature and regulating it. So we're measuring the health of the nerve, that one aspect of the nervous system.
Yeah.
And that also, because that can also be connected with the emotional system. Not can't be, it is. Because when there's emotional stuff going on that hasn't been resolved, it'll impact the muscles and whether muscles tighten or cause pain.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. But then also we're seeing like how healthy is the spinal musculature? How well can the spine and its surrounding tissues and structures hold healthy posture, hold the system intact?
Yeah.
There's a lot going on. And then the fourth test is thermal.
Yeah.
And that was the real quick one where we just rolled it up the spine.
Yeah.
This is literally reading the signatures coming off of the spine. And that's measuring a whole nother. Every one of these is designed to have a window to look in a different way into the function of the nervous system. This one is looking more like the autonomic function of the body, which is the nerves that are going to all the organs and the glands and everything that handle automatic function, the beating of the heart, the breathing of the lungs.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah. And what's really important is that every one of these tests spits up something visual that we can look at and use as a measurement tool. And then we come back through the course of care and compare and contrast.
Yeah.
For 2 reasons. One, I got to make sure that I'm on my game and really on track, helping this person to heal and grow and meet new objectives for a greater life.
Yeah.
And then for the patient, for the client, they have to see evidence.
Yeah.
True. Also, and so that's 4 out of the 5. And then the 5th is we actually get on the table and use my decades of experience with a lot of people to see what's going on in the body and the spine and correlate that with all the rest of the data.
Yeah.
And it's exciting.
It's
really exciting. Then we get back together.
Yeah.
If we need to do still, we get back together. We get back together and look at all the data together.
Yeah.
And what is this? And kind of like along a broad spectrum, right? Where are you in your health? Right? Not necessarily in getting rid of the symptom of the experience, in your ability to thrive an extraordinary life.
Yeah.
And then what's a plan? And just like what you said, it's like we're team, we're partnership.
Right.
This is what I'm seeing with my experience around the world of what I can project and predict for you.
Yeah.
Here's offer if we want to work together.
Yeah.
And if not, thanks.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I love your approach versus, like you said, just a quick backbreaking, because again, you're setting up a foundation, seeing where are they at really in a holistic sense. Right. And then coming up with a plan to see over time, how can we get the numbers or levels, however you up to more optimal, right?
And then that has to correlate with their subjective personal experience too. And that's a big deal.
Yeah.
We had research done, this was decades ago already, here at UC Irvine. It was the largest quality of life study largest quality of life study related to chiropractic in the history of the world.
Wow.
It was my mentor and the team of scientists here at UCI. And UCI, joke, that's a scary academic school.
Yeah.
And they're like really, really smart.
Yeah.
And because there's been lots of X-ray studies with chiropractic, and there's been lots of physical, biological studies with chiropractic. But is that really what matters? No, what matters is, I mean, it does, but it matters in the context of what is the quality of this person's life. And so this was a massive international study. There were, I want to say it was close to 3,500 patients from 100. Or actually, no. It was over 4,000. Don't quote. We'll get the right number. But it was thousands. It's a lot.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm thinking it's more like 4,200 now that I remember it. 128 international offices. So it was cross-culture, cross-language, all that stuff. And it was not the doctor's perspective. What happened is that questionnaires were given to all the patients of all these practitioners all around the world who performed this particular chiropractic methodology called network spinal. Or back then it was called network spinal analysis. And the patients, or the practice members is really what we call it. Again, different terminology. Practice members were asked to fill out these subjective questionnaires and say, hey, what's your experience in these 4 quadrants of life: mental, emotional, physical, spiritual? Or actually, the scientists would not use the word spiritual. So they said life and joy. So since you've started network care and you've been coming here over this period of time, it would take this survey at regular intervals. What's your experience been like? On spectrums that are measurable, sliding scale, mental, emotional, physical experience, life enjoyment. And the scientists here collated the data. It was like years of study. I want to say it was a 3-year study.
Wow.
It's a massive study.
Yeah.
It takes lots of funding to do something like this. And the bottom line, when the researchers here came back, they said that there's all of these things that we do to promote a healthy lifestyle. We think that we're supposed to eat well, right? Kombucha.
Right.
Sleep and get rest and exercise and meditate, do yoga, all these quote unquote healthy lifestyle habits. What the scientists said, what the data showed, was that if you got rid of all of that stuff, if you sit on the couch and eat potatoes, potato chips, it's better than just potato.
Yeah.
If you sit on the couch and eat Ben & Jerry's and potato chips, but you come in for regular network care, your quality of life experience is going to double.
Wow.
Compared to all the healthy lifestyle habits. If you got rid of all the healthy lifestyle habits, totally throw them to the wind, but just get regular network care, your quality of life experience is going to double in every spectrum of life: physical, mental, emotional, spirit. And that's because we're cleaning up and we're optimizing the health and the function of the brain and the nervous system. And then and this is all, we could pull up the research and show to you. And then the next level, the researchers said, if you add all those healthy lifestyle habits back in, so you're doing your regular network care, that's priority.
Yeah.
Your regular network spinal chiropractic care. And then go to the gym.
Yeah.
You get some good rest.
Yeah.
You drink your kombucha. You don't eat a bunch of gluten the day before a podcast. If you combine the healthy lifestyle habits with the network care, the quality of life triple.
Wow. Jeez.
Oh,
wow. That is insane.
It's documented, proven at really one of the more rigorous academic and scientific schools. There is.
That's
so
crazy.
Yeah, we can go on about this. We should have a podcast part 2.
Yeah, no, I think we definitely do. You know, I mean, there's so much to go into it, and I think that's why, just really looking forward to this. But
so much,
you know, I know, we definitely got to do a part 2.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, time's cutting short, and I just wanted to ask you, Dr. Scott, just kind of last words, favorite story of just kind of your practice, maybe that you can share.
Story about a practice,
or just
that one. That's a highlight.
Yeah, I think you had shared something about this girl and she wanted to do puzzles or something. I think
Well, wow, this is actually really, really relevant in more ways than I realized. Because one of my favorite clinical stories, like, you can't say clinical because it changed their lives. Like, I use it. It was actually a friend, Marie, was her name, called me up one day, and she's like, Scott, she's like, there's this family that just had a baby 3 months ago, and they want to bring her to you. I'm like, fantastic, great. The earlier you start, the better. And she's like, but this is actually a really serious thing. They said the baby had been born. The baby was perfectly healthy when it's born, but during the delivery, Anastasia's the name of the baby. Anastasia's shoulder got caught against the pubic bone coming out of the birth canal, and so like she was sort of stuck there.
Wow.
Big deal.
Yeah.
Big deal.
Wow.
And the doctors to get her out took her neck and torqued and twisted to yank her out.
Oh, Jesus.
And they did extensive nerve damage. They tore nerves, literally tore nerves from, I believe it was C4 down to about T3. It's like this, like around this region, tore the nerves of a perfectly fresh, healthy brand new baby. And so the kid, Anastasia, comes out with a near fully paralyzed left arm. It freaked me out. It looked like, it was gross. It looked like a dead fish hanging on the body.
Oh, man.
And the left side of her face completely paralyzed, like IHOP sliding off. Like it was sliding off her face. And I'm like, I almost didn't want to take a case because I'm like, I felt so insecure and like not enough. Like, that's serious. Like, what are we going to do? That's time and place for perhaps surgical neural, maybe intervention. But I'm like, let's see what we can do.
Yeah.
And over the course, she and her mother brought her in twice a week, usually twice a week for about 14 months. But especially when we hit about the 8 to 10 month mark, the kid recovered, and depending on the day, anywhere between about 85 and 92% function. Like her face, you couldn't even tell. Maybe her
Wow.
eye was a little droopy depending on the day. Her arm, she could move it. She could pick things up. She would crawl up the wall.
Wow.
Uh, her father was a VP of the bank and had a lot of connections and affluence to really get any type of care that they wanted, and flew the kid 10 hours to a world-class neurosurgeon. This was she'd been in my care for about 10 months. And they flew her to the neurosurgeon. The neurosurgeon, this was unbelievable. The neurosurgeon said, hey, whatever you're doing is working, keep doing it. He said, I'm going to cancel the surgery recommendation.
Wow.
You just keep doing what you're doing. So this is real.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had some kind of all over the map conversations about body, mind, heart, and soul,
Yeah.
and energetics and vibe and all that. This is real, like actionable stuff. And that's one of the greatest experiences in my life that I've ever been a part of.
Oh, man.
And so to close this out, what it reminds me of is actually a story that my original chiropractor used to tell us in that health class. It's funny, I never put the correlation together between Anastasia and this story. This is really wild.
Yeah.
And now Anastasia, she's probably about like 13 or 14-year-old girl.
Oh, man.
Changed her life.
Beautiful story. Oh,
She's suddenly, she would have gone through life with a paralyzed arm and a drooping face.
Yeah.
And now has a complete life trajectory.
Right.
And you talk about quality of life. So there's this story. This is how my chiropractor used to end the health class. He would say that there was this little girl, and there were two things in life that she loved more than any. One was puzzles, good memory, and two was her dad. And the best thing was like those together.
Yeah.
And so like she and her dad would do puzzles.
Yeah.
So comes one February, Sunday afternoon in February, it's the soup coming up to. And dad's favorite team is in the Super Bowl. It's fourth quarter. It's neck and neck. They're getting down to the end. Couple minutes left. His team is driving. They have a chance to win.
Yeah.
And his daughter suddenly arrives. And she's like, Daddy, let's do a puzzle. And he's like,
Opportune time.
yeah, right. Of course, right?
Yeah.
Of course. And he's like, give me 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Because you got timeouts. Stopped at the clock at 2 in the morning and all that. She's like, Daddy, to a puzzle. And he loves his daughter. And this is their thing.
Yeah.
He loves his team too.
Yeah.
And so he notices this magazine on the coffee table, and there's a picture of the globe on it, like from outer space. And he's like, he tears off the cover, rips it into like 50 pieces, whatever it is, 100 pieces. And he's like, that'll keep him busy. And he's like, here you go, honey. It's a new type of puzzle. You get it started.
Yeah.
And I'll be right there.
Yeah.
He's figured he's bought enough time to finish the game. So 5 minutes later, the little girl comes back. Maybe Anastasia.
Yeah.
Comes back. And she's like, Daddy, I am done. And he's like, we're talking, there's 30 seconds left in the game. Heading up for the field goal. And he's like, hey, that's impossible. Must have made a mistake. I'm done. And now he's really curious. Right?
Yeah.
So he goes over, and lo and behold, the world has been put back together again.
Oh, man.
And he's like, if you love me, full community. Community. And he's like, honey, that's the hardest puzzle we've ever done. How did you do that? And you did by yourself.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, I noticed, Daddy, that on the other side of the picture of the world was a picture of a man or a woman. And she's like, I figure that if I put the man together, the world will take care of itself.
What?
And I've had that drilled into me since I was 21 years old, when I first got dragged against my conscious will to a chiropractor. And that was the story that he told.
Gosh.
That's been kind of my background and really set a foundation for a new trajectory in life, but it also set a goal.
Mm-hmm.
It also set a new target,
Yeah.
and it created a real big gap between where I was, because my life wasn't great. I mean, I didn't have any physical aches or pains that I was aware of. All those symptoms aren't really a good measure of that. But I was hurting in so many other ways
Mm-hmm.
in my life. And
Mm-hmm.
he helped start a process that still continues to this day
Yeah.
of like ever evolving growth and not just growth, because there's a point where, geez, Chris, there's too many things. There's 4 levels of health. We'll do this next time.
Yes.
But like there's a level of symptoms.
Yeah.
There's a level of no symptoms, which is really dangerous because
Yeah.
most people think that like if they have no symptoms, they're healthy. And
Right.
that's
Yeah.
obviously not the case. It could be, but usually not. Then there's a level of health, wellness, and community, which is a focus on thrive and resourcefulness and abundance. And then there's the level, and I think there's a lot where we connect,
Mm-hmm.
of community and contribution.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
there's so much resourcefulness and abundance. There's so much richness in whatever or many aspects of a person's life that it spills over.
Mm-hmm.
And the natural human desire is to contribute and collect community.
Yeah. Yep.
And I think that's both a target for how we operate our businesses.
Yes.
And like our spirits and kind of our roles in life.
Yeah.
I really see this isn't just a chiropractic office or a health center. I see it as a community center and a hub for people to have magical connections and auspicious meetings and partnerships and friendships and all of this is involved in true health. Health is wow, I'm making this up right now. Health is never ever just a personal thing. That's a recipe for disease.
Mm.
Health is always health is always in community. It's the only way that it can happen, whether it's the community of cells, organs, of families, of people. It's like we are designed. We are designed as interconnected, interrelated things.
Yeah.
And I think most of the sickness and the disease that we experience on the earth comes from a separation of our natural connected nature.
Yes.
And so, I mean, I take a bold stand. I mean, I could make millions just sitting there cracking necks. That's easy.
Right. Right.
Right. I'm not trying to diminish it because there's a time and place for it, but that's not my character. You know, I see a bigger truth, and it sucks some days, and it's scary some days because I'm definitely out in burgeoning territory that a lot of people don't subscribe to, or they even think is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
I look at it
that's the
as
gig.
we got one life to live. And if it's something you believe in truly, that's the power you need to make it happen. You know, I feel the same exact way.
I want to interview you. I've done all the talking. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, no, yeah. But honestly, I mean, yeah, we'll definitely get together and do this again. But, you know, this right here was just an amazing, you know, I can't even explain it. I just know a lot of people will enjoy listening to
I
you
hope so.
and just, again, just your approach. I mean, how can people, if they want to get a hold of you, like on social media, website, how can they get a hold of you in touch?
A lot of it's being designed.
Okay.
I actually quit chiropractic for a while.
Yeah.
So this is a relatively new reimagine.
Yeah.
The website's being designed.
Okay.
It will be thevibeoc.com.
Okay. Nice.
Excuse me. Phone number, office number is 949-516-5559. 949-516-5559. Just verify that. You can call my cell. I don't really care.
Okay.
714-914-3243. Email.
Okay.
Is super simple. It's Dr. Scott Freeman. So DrScottFreeman.com. LinkedIn. The LinkedIn profile is already set up, you know, and going, that's another good way to connect, and everything else, the IG and Facebook and all that stuff.
Yeah.
In development. It's a little embarrassing to say.
No, not at all. Not at all. Well, I mean, I'll obviously gather whatever is live, you know, ways for which and people can connect with you.
And the help.
Yeah.
So two things. First off, again, the consultation, the true health exam consultation is always complimentary. And Look, honestly, for guests of your show, coming into the exam would normally be 214.
Mm,
Just come do it like, I don't know, I'm making it up right now, like $20
wow.
I don't even, it's not
Yeah.
about that.
Appreciate that.
You're
Yeah.
not going to get ripped on exams. You got to build relationships.
Right.
I'm trying to like make it easier for people to take a look at their health, but also, and I think maybe even more important is come to the health class.
Mm,
We call it the ultimate health class. I'll get dates for you.
okay. Perfect.
But we go into some of this stuff and we do live demos, talk with people, real life things that are going on in their life. What's a possibility for them? How can we help?
Yeah.
And that's a great way for people to go, no, I'm doing it because that's what my doc did for me. You opened the door for me. And so I get to open it now.
Yeah.
For other people. So we'll get the dates and stuff.
Yeah. No, definitely. Oh man. Dr. Scott, thanks so much. Thank you for your time. Oh my gosh. Like I said, we're going to have to get together for a second show, but yes, thank you for your time. Honestly, we were looking forward to this.
You on the next
Yeah, no, for sure. Well, thank you again. Like I said, I'll get all your info that goes live, and we'll put it on the podcast so everyone can connect with you, follow you, and then just see the amazing work and change that you're doing.
I appreciate the opportunity to help broadcast and reach out to more people, because there's people they're seeking something. They're seeking more.
Yeah.
Like they know that there's more to the life that they're living. There's more than what's visible on the surface. And they don't necessarily even know what that is or where to find it.
Yeah.
And I've had people take that stand for me. Thank God, like over and over and over, God bless, over and over and over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
And now that similar phenomenon is happening now. And you're helping to be an avenue, not just for me, but for many people to kind of connect with resources and more resourcefulness that people are craving in their life.
Absolutely.
They don't know that they're craving it.
Yeah, absolutely. 100% agree with you. I feel like people want it. They just don't know where.
100%.
Yeah.
And so I'm kind of serious about interviewing you.
Okay. Yeah.
In ways, I think we both serve as like sort of like beacons.
Yeah.
Like for the community of something more that a majority of the culture doesn't know exists.
Yeah. I'm up for it.
You got it.
100%.
Okay.
All right. Well, perfect.
All
right, Scott. Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Securities offered through Kestra Investment Services, LLC, member FINRA, SIPC. Investment advisory services offered through Kestra Private Wealth Services, LLC. An affiliate of Kestra is. Both Wealth Management and Kestra Investment Services are not affiliated. Kestra is and Kestra is do not provide tax or legal advice. The opinions expressed in this commentary are those of the author and may not necessarily reflect those held by Kestra Investment Services, LLC or Kestra Advisory Services, LLC. This is for general information only and is not intended to provide specific investment advice or recommendations for any individual. It is suggested that you consult your financial professional, attorney, or tax advisor with regard to your individual situation. Comments concerning the past performance are not intended to be forward-looking and should not be viewed as an indication of future results.